I know for you this is a little bit of a switching of chairs, given that you're usually the one asking the questions and conducting the interview. So I hope you'll take your years of being on this side of the fence and I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
We'll see how it goes, Zachary. It's very nice to be here, and hello, Emma.
Hi, Chris.
Your new book, Infectious Generosity. What was the genesis of writing about this? I mean, I know in many ways you've been trying to, in various forums, various TED forums, and your own speaking and voice, you have been articulating many of the themes in this book for many, 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 many years. So why now? What was the genesis?
So the genesis was, I would say, the crucial few years of TED that happened. Gosh, it's a long time ago now. It's 2006 to in the few years following that, when we had this dilemma that we faced, which was that, we had a conference. People seemed to like it. We were a nonprofit. We were supposed to be running it for the public good. And suddenly we had this opportunity to share the content of the conference with the world through this, curious new technology called online video that at the time was this little shaky, pixels in the corner of your laptop, but was making progress. And we thought we could do this, but should we? We were worried that it would kill the conference. That why would people come to a conference if they thought they could see the talks for free online? But because we were a nonprofit, and I had a good risk-taking team around me, we thought we should go for it. We went for it, and something kind of amazing happened. Instead of demand for the conference being killed, it rocketed. And the reason it rocketed was because these talks went viral, and suddenly people around the world knew what TED was. And it really got me thinking. I'd heard TED Talks about how in this internet age, the rules around what you give and what you don't, what you hold on to had changed, but I hadn't really felt them. And after this experience, I felt that, wow, this is really radically different. And we started at TED adopting this as a strategy. Give away the biggest thing you can think of and be amazed at what happens next. We did the same thing by giving away our brand, TED, and allowed people around the world to organize these TED events with an X added in, TEDx. A free license. They controlled the content, we didn't. It was high risk and it screwed up horribly in some cases. But net, it was incredible. It allowed our little org to suddenly be doing 3,000 events around the world. And many of the best TED speakers came through these events, not through our own curation. So it was basically that experience of saying the rules have changed. You in this connected age, we can be much, 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 much bolder about how we think about generosity. And actually, it's in our own long-term interest to do that. So that was where it started.
It's almost like a return to the good old days of the internet, right? I feel like we're in this, the history of the internet goes, everyone was so excited about it. It was a way to connect. It was a way to share. Then we got into the second phase, which was the internet as an amplifier of hatred and outrage and negativity. So is this like we're trying to enter a new phase, or is it you're trying to balance out that image of the internet with something else?
You're exactly right. Back in the aughts, there were a lot of people who were pretty optimistic about what the internet could do. I was certainly one of them. And the ugly truth is that for a lot of the last 10 years, the story of the internet, the story of technology generally, has been one of crushing disappointment. I think it's correct to say that net, social media, for example, has caused more division than benefit to humanity. And that's such a crying shame. So the motivation for actually writing this book is to say, I can't stand giving in to that narrative. I don't think humans have to give in to that narrative. I don't think it's written anywhere in stone that social media and the internet will for always be a destructive force. I think these things are always changing. And what I've noticed is that there's enough going on under the radar to give me hope and belief that we actually could turn the tide here. So that is the motivation for the book. On the one hand, it's this intellectual conviction that our connected age changed the rules of the game, but then the observation that there had been unintended consequences of that, and that often what was being spread was not kindness or knowledge of the good kind, but rather reasons to be fearful of each other. That was awful. What could we do about it? And so, in many ways, the riddle at the heart of the book is, how do we make good compelling? As things stand, evil is compelling, good is boring. We need to do something about that.